The only 6 exercises Japanese people do instead of walking to never lose leg strength. Did you know that Japanese people, considering only those over 70 years old, have the strongest and most functional legs in the world? That's right. And it's no coincidence that Japan is also the country with the highest number of centenarians on the planet. As many doctors affirm, death begins with the legs. When we lose leg strength, we lose mobility, independence, and quality of life. Recent studies make it clear that despite being a standard recommendation, walking alone is not sufficient to maintain the necessary muscle strength after 60 years of age. That's why today you'll see the 6 exercises that Japanese people use to strengthen not just the muscles, but also the tendons and ligaments, ensuring the stability you need to never lose your independence again. Before we begin, please tell us through the comments your name and the city where you're watching our content from. We would love to know. Exercise number 6, seated leg extension. Strength in the front of the thigh is critical to protect your knees from injuries and chronic pain, but it's also one of the first to disappear with age. When the quadriceps weaken, the knees lose stability and begin to suffer accelerated wear. This exercise strengthens this region specifically in an isolated and controlled manner, being fundamental to maintain your independence when climbing stairs, getting up from chairs, and walking safely. The seated leg extension works the quadriceps intensely, especially the vastus medialis muscle, responsible for stabilizing the patella. To execute it correctly, sit in a chair with your back straight and supported by the backrest. Keep your feet supported on the floor initially. Extend one leg forward until completely straight, with the knee fully extended. At the top of the movement, voluntarily contract the thigh muscle with maximum force for 3 seconds, keeping the foot flexed toward the body. This conscious contraction is the secret of the exercise. Then, lower the legs slowly, controlling the movement, and return to the starting position. Alternate between legs or complete all repetitions on one side before switching. Start with 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions for each leg, resting 45 seconds between sets. When it becomes easy, you can add a light ankle weight of 2 to 4.5 pounds or hold the contraction at the top for longer, reaching up to 5 seconds. The main mistakes to avoid are extending the leg quickly without contracting at the top, not keeping the foot flexed during the movement, allowing the trunk to swing backward, and not executing the lowering phase in a controlled manner. Many people simply swing the leg upward and let it drop, losing half the benefit of the exercise. A valuable tip is to mentally visualize the muscle contracting during the movement, as this increases muscle recruitment. This exercise has contraindications for people with acute knee injuries, severe arthritis in inflammatory phase, or intense pain during execution. In these cases, consult a physical therapist before starting. Exercise number 5, static march. This is a dynamic exercise that combines muscle strengthening with cardiovascular activation, being extremely valued in Japanese routines for maintaining leg health. The movement mimics natural marching, but in an exaggerated and controlled way, which forces the muscles to work much more intensely than during a common walk. This exercise works mainly the hip flexors, especially the iliopsoas, in addition to intensely activating the quadriceps during leg elevation, the calves for propulsion, and the core muscles to maintain trunk stability. To execute correctly, stand with upright posture, shoulders back, and looking forward. Raise one knee as high as possible, ideally to hip height or above, keeping the trunk completely straight without leaning backward. Alternate quickly between legs, as if you were marching in place with vigor. Use your arms in opposite movement to the legs, bringing the right arm forward when the left knee rises, exactly as in natural marching. Maintain a constant and controlled rhythm, without excessive haste that compromises form. The most common mistakes are not raising the knees high enough, allowing the trunk to lean backward during the movement, dragging feet between elevations instead of lifting completely, and marching too fast, losing execution control. Execute this exercise for 30 to 60 seconds of continuous marching, rest 30 seconds, and repeat 3 to 4 times. To increase the challenge, try raising the knees even higher, holding briefly at the top, or increase speed while always maintaining correct form. This exercise is especially important for people who drag their feet when walking or who have difficulty climbing stairs, as it retrains the neural pattern of leg elevation. The main contraindication is for people with severe balance problems who cannot stand safely. In this case, the exercise can be done with light support on a chair or wall. Exercise number 4, step up. Climbing stairs is one of the first activities that become difficult when legs lose strength. Walking on flat terrain never challenges your legs the same way as climbing a step, where you need to transfer all body weight to a single leg and raise the body against gravity. This is one of the most complete and functional exercises that exist because it reproduces exactly essential movements of daily life, strengthening not just the muscles, but also the neurological patterns that your brain needs to execute complex movements safely. The exercise works glutes, quadriceps, and hamstrings intensely in an integrated way, in addition to activating the stabilizing muscles of the core and ankle. To execute it correctly, use a step of 8 to 12 inches in height, which can be the first step of a staircase, a step, platform, or even a resistant box. Place one foot completely on the step, making sure the entire heel is supported, never leaving the heel hanging off the edge. Propel yourself upward using only the strength of the leg that is on the step, without pushing with the back leg, which should only accompany the movement. Upon reaching the top, stand completely upright on the step, contracting the glute of the supporting leg. Then, descend in a controlled manner, placing the leg that stayed behind first, maintaining total control of the movement without throwing yourself downward. Start with 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions for each leg, alternating legs with each repetition or completing all repetitions on one side before switching. Rest 60 seconds between sets. To progress, increase to 12 to 15 repetitions, use a higher step, or hold light weights in your hands. People who practice this exercise regularly regain confidence to climb stairs normally and perform activities that had become difficult. The main mistakes to avoid are using momentum from the back leg to help with the ascent, which steals the work from the leg that should be making the effort, allowing the knee of the supporting leg to collapse inward during the ascent, descending too quickly without control, and not supporting the heel completely on the step. This exercise has contraindications for people with acute knee pain, severe balance problems, or recent ankle injuries. If you feel pain during execution, reduce the step height or consult a professional. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Having constant access to science-based information is what will make you progress with long-term health in the world of bodybuilding. Exercise number 3, calf raise. Many people don't realize it, but weakness in the calves is one of the main causes of falls after 60 years of age. The calves, considered the body's second heart, are responsible for propelling the body forward with each step, maintaining balance on irregular surfaces, and pumping blood back to the heart when you're standing, fighting gravity. Walking activates the calves superficially, but doesn't create the explosive strength necessary to keep you safe. This exercise works specifically the gastrocnemius and soleus muscles, which make up the calf, in addition to strengthening the Achilles tendon, fundamental for mobility and injury prevention. To execute correctly, stand with feet parallel at hip width. Support yourself lightly on a chair, wall, or handrail to maintain balance, but without transferring weight to the support. Raise your heels off the floor as much as possible, standing on your tiptoes with the body completely aligned. Hold the contraction at the top for 2 seconds, feeling the calf completely contracted, and then descend slowly until the heels touch the floor again. For better results, execute the exercise on the edge of a step, allowing the heels to descend below the level of the toes, significantly increasing the range of motion and muscle activation. Start with 3 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions, resting 45 seconds between them. Since the calf has a predominance of slow-twitch muscle fibers, it responds better to longer sets, so progress to 15 to 20 repetitions when it becomes easy. To increase difficulty, execute the movement on just one leg at a time, or hold a weight in the hand opposite to the support. Common mistakes to avoid are rising too quickly without holding at the top, not descending completely until the heel touches the floor, allowing the knees to bend during the movement, and not varying foot position between sets. A valuable tip is to vary foot position between sets. One set with feet parallel, another with toes pointing slightly outward, and another with toes pointing inward, as this activates different portions of the calf. Studies show that strengthening the calves reduces the risk of falls by up to 40%, improves dynamic balance, improves circulation in the legs, reducing swelling, and decreases ankle discomfort that many people experience at the end of the day. This exercise has contraindications for people with Achilles tendonitis in acute phase, severe plantar fasciitis, or intense pain in the calf during execution. Exercise number 2, chair, sit to stand. This is an extremely important functional exercise, especially for people over 60 years old, as it simulates an absolutely essential daily activity that many end up losing the ability to do independently. The ability to sit and stand without hand support is one of the best indicators of longevity and quality of life. People who maintain this capacity preserve their autonomy, avoid falls, and keep muscles active that protect the joints. The movement intensely activates quadriceps, glutes, and core simultaneously, in addition to working the spinal erectors to keep the trunk stable. To execute correctly, sit in a chair of adequate height, keeping feet completely supported on the floor at hip width. Cross your arms over your chest, or extend them forward to assist with balance, but without using them for propulsion. Lean the trunk slightly forward, shifting your center of gravity, and stand up using exclusively the strength of your legs, pushing your feet against the floor. Stand completely upright at the top, consciously contracting the glutes. To descend, lower yourself in a controlled manner until sitting again, without throwing yourself into the chair, maintaining total control throughout the entire descent. The main mistakes to avoid are using hands to help with impulse or support, throwing the body forward with excessive momentum instead of using muscular strength, not standing completely erect at the top of the movement, and throwing yourself into the chair during descent instead of descending in a controlled manner. Start with 2 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions, pausing briefly between each repetition to reset the position. Rest 60 seconds between sets. When it becomes easy, use a lower chair to increase range of motion and difficulty, progress to 12 to 15 repetitions, or hold a light weight at your chest during execution. An interesting progression is to pause for 2 seconds in the middle of the movement, both on the ascent and descent, which significantly increases time under tension. People who master this movement maintain greater autonomy and independence in daily activities, can use public restrooms more easily, and feel more confident in social environments. This exercise has contraindications for people with acute knee or hip pain, recent surgeries on the lower limbs, or severe balance problems that prevent safe execution. In these cases, start by lightly holding onto a support until gaining strength and confidence. Exercise number 1, glute bridge. The glutes are the largest and most powerful muscles in the human body, responsible for keeping you upright, propelling you when walking, and stabilizing your pelvis and spine. When the glutes weaken, the entire posterior chain suffers, leading to back, knee, and hip pain. Walking activates the glutes in an extremely limited way, especially if you walk slowly or on flat terrain. The benefits include strengthening the entire posterior chain, significant posture improvement, reduction of chronic lower back pain, increased capacity to walk long distances without fatigue, and knee protection through adequate pelvic stabilization. This exercise intensely activates the gluteus maximus, hamstrings, spinal erectors, and deep core muscles. To execute it correctly, lie on your back on a mat or comfortable surface, with arms relaxed at your sides, palms facing down. Bend your knees, keeping feet supported on the floor at hip width, positioned approximately 1 hand's distance from the glutes. Raise the hip by pushing the heels against the floor with force, not the toes, until forming a completely straight line from shoulders to knees. At the top of the movement, contract the glutes with maximum force, as if trying to hold something between them, and maintain this contraction for 3 seconds. Descend in a controlled manner, unrolling the spine vertebra by vertebra until returning to the starting position, but without completely relaxing between repetitions. Start with 3 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions, resting 45 seconds between sets. To progress, increase the contraction time at the top to 5 seconds. Execute the movement with only 1 leg at a time, or place a weight on the hip to add resistance. The most common mistakes to avoid are excessively arching the lower back at the top instead of maintaining a straight line, pushing with the toes instead of the heels, not consciously contracting the glutes at the top, and rising too quickly without muscular control. People who include this exercise regularly report feeling their backs much stronger and more stable, less pain when standing for long periods, and greater ease in climbing hills or stairs. This exercise has contraindications for people with herniated disc in acute phase, severe lower back pain during execution, or recent spine injuries. If you feel discomfort, reduce the range of motion or consult a physical therapist. Bonus exercise: wall squat. This is a powerful isometric exercise that Japanese people use to develop muscular endurance and static strength in the legs, essential qualities for maintaining correct posture and preventing fatigue during prolonged activities. The wall squat works the muscles differently from dynamic exercises, creating a specific type of strength that improves your ability to maintain positions for long periods. The benefits include intense strengthening of quadriceps, glutes, and core, improvement of local muscular endurance, development of knee stability, and teaching of correct squat pattern. To execute, position yourself with your back to a wall, placing your feet about 1.5 feet away from it. Slide your back down the wall until your thighs are parallel to the floor, as if sitting in an invisible chair. The knees should form a 90-degree angle and be aligned with the ankles, never going beyond the line of the toes. Keep your back completely supported on the wall and arms relaxed or crossed on the chest. Hold this position for the determined time, breathing normally. The main mistakes are allowing the knees to advance beyond the toes, detaching the back from the wall, or letting the hip rise, losing the 90-degree angle. Start holding for 20 to 30 seconds, rest 60 seconds, and repeat 3 times. Progress gradually to 45 to 60 seconds. When it becomes too easy, hold a weight on your lap. This exercise has contraindications for people with acute knee pain, uncontrolled blood pressure problems, or recent injuries to the lower limbs. If you liked this and want to discover another exercise widely practiced in Asian communities to heal years of neglecting your own body, we've left a video appearing right now on the screen showing each of them better. Don't miss it. Thank you for watching until here, and may you be blessed, my friend.